Hey, what's up everybody? It's Carl's Collects Comics and I'm back with another top 10 list. This time I'm going to be sharing my picks for the top 10 Namor comics that I think you should be picking up right now. So stay tuned. Alright, hey, so here we are recently with the casting of Tena Huerta as Namor for the new Black Panther movie. I've become very interested in the character Namor. Now originally he had a different origin and some different storylines and different heritage, but I'm very excited and interested in what they're doing with him by tying him back to Mayan and Incan culture. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited that he's kind of been retconned into one of Marvel's first Hispanic superheroes. And so now previously, once I'd heard that rumor, I'd picked up a few of his books, and I'd always been interested in him as just this kind of passionate and sometimes violent and quick-tempered monarch that ruled the seas and then interacted with all the superheroes on land. So there'd been some interest, some minor interest, but I've become more interested as I've learned more and more about what they're doing with the character for the big screen. I'm wondering how that's going to spill over into comics, but in the meantime, I went through and did a little bit of research, some preliminary research. Of course, he's a long-standing character in the Marvel universe. He's been around since the Golden Age, since before Marvel Comics was Marvel Comics. He's been around since it was Timely Comics. So it's been a fun time doing this. I'm looking forward to reading more and more of his material and learning more about the character as I've started picking up some of his books and some lots on eBay. But I put together a list. This is really a preliminary top 10 list for those of you that might be interested in Namor books that are worth checking out right now and maybe even picking up. So let's go ahead and get started with it. Number 10 on my list of the top 10 Namor comics that you should be picking up right now is Namor number 1 through 4. So this is a 4-issue limited series that explores Namor's world for a more modern audience. Atlantis is in the process of becoming a member of the United Nations, and Namor leaves his home to go check in on the process. Atlantis is attacked while he's gone, and he's blamed for the outcome. So the primary villain turns out to be a potential short-term love interest for Namor, and in the end, while he defeats the enemy, he's declared unfit to rule his kingdom and is removed from power. Now, while it's a little bit muddled story-wise, it's an inexpensive read, and I do think it's a fun addition to a collection. I don't see the value climbing too highly for this miniseries though, but it's definitely a personal collection keeper. Now I found copies for as little as $10 for all 4. I found them as parts of lots where it was almost a cost of $2 or less per book, not in high grade. So, you know, this is one of those ones, if you can find it for under $10 for all 4 issues, yeah, go ahead and pick it up, read it, see what you think. Like I said, a little bit muddled, a little bit kind of all over the place, but you know, it's an interesting, fun read, and it's only 4 issues, so it might be worth something. Might be something to pick up. Number 9 on my list of the top 10 Namor comics that you should be picking up right now is the Saga of the SUBMARINER, number 1 through 12. Now, this is a 12-issue series. I'm spotlighting number 1 here, but it is a 12-issue series that retells Namor's origin within the Marvel Universe as it relates to other characters in the same universe. So this 1988 to 1989 release was written by Roy Thomas and was meant to represent the long history of the character and provide a smoother, more consistent history as told through Namor's eyes. Now I have parts of this series, but not all of them. I'm still on the lookout for the remainder, you know, and I may just rebuy it all as one lot. But it's relatively inexpensive, and it can provide another easy jumping on point for new readers that are interested in the character, with the debut of Black Panther Wakanda Forever right around the corner as of the recording of this video. Number 8 on my list is Ultimate Fantastic Four, issues number 24, 25, and 26. The Tomb of Namor storyline from the Ultimate Universe takes some departures from the source material, but it's also our first look at a reimagined Namor drawing from ancient civilizations. The Namor-Sue Storm relationship is more overt and center stage, and Namor's look is heavily modernized. Personally, I'm a fan of the Ultimates universe and Greg Land's artwork. I understand that not everybody is of either of those, and that many may disregard this in favor of Silver Age Namor books. You can definitely get them for what I paid for my autographed set of this storyline. But for me, I liked elements of this storyline and Greg Land's artwork especially, so I bought an autographed set off of eBay. I ended up paying, I think, about $33 for the set of 3, all 3 autographed on the cover by Greg Land. So I felt like, you know, for me, being a fan of the artist and a fan of the Ultimates universe, and this being a major storyline involving Namor, or the Ultimates version of Namor, I decided to go ahead and pick it up. You may decide for that money you could get a nice Silver Age Namor book. Alright, number 7 on my list is Namor number 1 from volume 6. This is what I've jokingly called the Corporate Raider Namor ongoing series that many of us might remember growing up. This has been a very inexpensive book for a very long time. They're readily available and you shouldn't have to pay more than $5 or $6 even for a higher grade copy. It's a fun jumping on point and a modern take on the character. This ongoing series saw plenty of interesting stories and subplots and ran for a decent amount of issues. Lots of cool stuff going on in there, lots of very 90s cover art going on there, foil and whatnot. Really amped up the Namor and Sue Storm relationship. So these are some fun books to pick up. Number 1 is chief among them. So you know, keep an eye out for it. Number 6 on my list is SUBMARINER number 20, and this is the first battle between Namor and Dr. Doom. This book is going to see growth as a confrontation between the 2 monarchs draws closer and closer. Now it's going to be a few years at least, but there is sure to be a fight, and a memorable one at that. We will know in a few weeks if as of the recording of this video, if the rumors about a Dr. Doom post-credit scene are true. It stands to reason that the 2 kings will clash, especially after Doom's interference in Namor's kingdom. I'm a fan of the Namor Silver Age books for a couple of reasons. First, they're cool reads and the artwork is solid. I love flipping through these books both for reading and for enjoyment. Additionally, they're a happy medium for collectors who aren't ready to take the leap into the Golden Age books. For those who don't know, Namor was originally a Golden Age character created when Marvel was still known as Timely Comics. So many of his earliest appearances are currently priced out of reach of most collectors. Plus, Silver Age books are much more available with larger surviving numbers than the Golden Age books. You know, standard Silver Age book, you're going to pay around $20. Standard Golden Age book, you're probably going to be looking at least $600 for a single issue. But you know, it largely depends on grade. You can find deals, but they're scarce books to begin with. So you know, yeah, I think a suggestion for a lot of the people that view this channel and hang out here might be to look at the Silver Age books and and consider the Golden Age books. Maybe later as you get more advanced into collecting. Number 5 on my list of the top 10 Namor books that you should be picking up right now is SUBMARINER number 59. This iconic cover features a battle between Namor and Thor. It's going to be interesting how Namor's strength is scaled up or down in the MCU. If he's too strong, how does Black Panther defeat him? If he's too weak, how does he stand toe-to-toe with the Hulk, Thor, or the Thing? It's definitely a dicey process figuring out where everyone lands. And this isn't the only iconic battle cover featuring Namor. There's also SUBMARINER number 8, featuring a battle between Namor and the Thing with cover art by John Buscema. Again, these are cool. You know, the Namor Silver Age books are a great compromise between going fully Golden Age, and which are much more niche, and going into this, and just getting some good solid books that are not modern books. So if you're looking for something more vintage, I do recommend looking into the Silver Age books and seeing if there's if there's early sub number 10 books that you can get from the Namor SUBMARINER run. Number 4 on my list is SUBMARINER Comics number 35. So this is definitely a more expensive book. You're looking at paying several $100s, if not over $1,000 for this one book. So you should carefully weigh out whether or not to purchase it. In this issue, Namor discovers he can live outside of water, but how much of that is going to be utilized for the MCU? This could be a significant future book, or it could just be one that's a more obscure Golden Age book with a niche audience. So it's just one of those ones that you're going to have to weigh out, dependent on where you're at with collecting and whether or not you want to get into it. I do think that you should wait a little bit of time before buying the more expensive Namor books, because right as of the recording of this video, it's a very hot topic, because the movie is right around the corner. If the movie does well, these books will probably stabilize or grow. But eventually they will soften, so you may want to have this one be something you put off unless you find a really good deal on some of the books. Number 3 on my list is Uncanny X-Men number 6, or just the X-Men number 6. So this is the issue in which Namor is confirmed to be a mutant. Now this might be a safer buy, given that it isn't just a Namor key book, but also an early Silver Age X-Men book. All of these are going to see some gains once the X-Men arrive in the MCU, some more than others, but this one is a dual-purpose book in that it's an early X-Men book. It's only number 6, and then it's also Namor's confirmation that he's a mutant. So this is one that you may want to consider checking out, and can, I think, hold up value over time. Alright, number 2 on my list is Iron Man and Submariner number 1. This book is a standalone story that ties Tales of Suspense and Tales to Astonish to Iron Man number 1 and Submariner number 1. It's a novel concept, it's a fun book, and it's incredibly undervalued for what it is, given that it predates both of the aforementioned Silver Age first issues. This book, surprisingly, can still be found for well under $100 if you come across it. Grade dependent, even a higher mid-grade copy can be found for under $100, which is shocking to me because it predates Iron Man. Like I said, it predates Iron Man number 1, and it predates Submariner number 1. So you would think that it might be a higher dollar book, but it's actually not. So Submariner number 1 is number 1 on my list for the top 10 Namor comics that you should be checking out right now. This is the first solo Namor series in the Silver Age. It retells his origin, and it serves as a fresh jumping on point for the character. Now, it's a plentiful book, lots of copies, so no rush to grab one. Just have your money ready, as I've advised before, have your money ready in whatever your digital form of payment is, or have cash if you have several LCSs in your area, and keep an eye out for a good raw copy from a reputable dealer. Now, what does a reputable dealer mean? It's somebody that you trust when you're spending over $100 on a key issue. You want to have that dealer help you find a copy that has no restoration. Real big one. When you're buying raw older books, you want to trust a dealer that can help you determine if there's been any restoration. Number 2, you want to make sure that the book is complete. Some of these older books might have pieces torn out. They might also have whole folds torn out, and you have to be careful and count the pages, know how many pages there should be, and count those pages. All right. Number 3, you want to get you want help from a trusted dealer in making sure that the copy you have isn't going to have mold issues or rust issues around those staples, because you don't want those things to be to be an issue for you. You want a good clean copy. And again, like I said, this is not a book that is uncommon. There are quite a few copies of this book out there. I see them all the time for sale, and a lot of people have them in their collections. So there's not a rush or an urgency to get it, but you do want to have your money ready to be able to buy when the time is right. And like I said, this can actually be a fairly affordable copy. I got mine before before the book really spiked. I picked it up. I think I got it for under $100, and it's easy a 4.0 copy. It's a really solid copy, and so you know, it's just one of those fun books to add, and it's so iconic. I mean, look at the cover. It's Namor in all his glory with his trident, and it's just a really iconic, well-known cover, and it's a cool story inside because it kicks off his Silver Age story, and it really plugs him into the Marvel Universe. So hey, those are my top 10 picks for Namor comics that you should be buying right now. I hope that this helps you. I'm a very recent fan, so I am totally open to hearing some of your suggestions. Are there any books that I didn't mention? And of course there's a lot because he's been around since the Golden Age, but are there any books that I didn't mention that you think I should have had on the list? Are there any books on the list that you're like, I don't know if I would have put that one on there? Hey, even I think there's at least one that I'm kind of like, I don't know about that one. But it was fun to put this together. It's fun to continue collecting, and as always, it is so much fun to hang out with you for these few minutes that we get together to for me to share about books that I think are worth taking a look at. So I'm Carl's Collects Comics, and again, this has been another top 10 list. Make sure like this video, drop a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because it always helps us when there's more subscribers and more members of this corner of the comic book collecting community. As always, it has been a pleasure. Make sure and have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you next time, and keep collecting those comics.